All right, guys, got the next, what do you want to call it? Next part to my rear bag setup for the Chevy. Um, if you haven't watched my 4-link video, go check it out. All right, anyway, so this came today. Ta-da, brackets, fantastic. So these are from airbag.com, kind of, they're from eBay. I was going to order from Suicide Doors. Then I started doing a little bit of research. I was going to do my whole setup from Suicide Doors. Then I started doing some research. I kind of wish I went with their bars, their 4-link bars and bushings and all that. But if these other ones don't last, then I'll switch over. But anyway, these brackets were drastically cheaper than Suicide Doors brackets were. So it would have been $70 to get all this from Suicide Doors. And the brackets are 3/16. So they're thinner than these. And you had to pay shipping on top of the $70. So we're going to say, I don't know, 85, 90 bucks. Minimum, probably. These were 40 bucks on eBay. They are from Airbag it, but it's just plate steel. So I'm not buying their bags. I'm not buying their links. I'm not buying their bushings. I'm not buying any wearable items. So I can't see one company's plates being better than another company's. So when it comes to this stuff, the cheaper the better. It's 1/4-inch steel instead of 3/16. I don't know if I said that already. The Suicide Doors brackets sit 1 7/8 inches off the axle tube. So let's see how high these sit, because I'm not sure. I'm assuming they're about the same. I could be wrong. Let's see if we can get exactly right there and see where we're at. Where we at? Just under 1.5? Can't tell. Make sure I'm lined up right there. Whoops. This is tougher than I expected it to be. About 1.5. So 3/8 inch lower profile. I don't know how long the standard airbag bolts are. I guess you can use whatever length you want as long as it goes into the bottom of the airbag securely. I'm going to be using limiting straps, so if I jack it up on a lift, the airbag and the shocks aren't supporting the whole load of the axle. I contacted Airbag it, and they said that the RE7 bags would work perfectly on here. Those are the bags I'm using, the Slam Specialty RE7s. They said they would work perfectly with these. That's cut out for an S10 axle. Not specifically an S10 axle, but 2 3/4. 2 3/4 right there, dead on. Whoops. Right there. So it looks like this starts to curve back in a tiny bit on both sides. So I'm going to, I might have to open that up a little bit, but not a big deal if I do. Doesn't matter. That'll take about 5 seconds with the grinder. All right. So we got 2 of these. Boom, right there. We got 2 of these bad boys. Big old beasts. For some reason, I didn't expect them to be so big. But, I mean, they're huge. Let me see. Also 1/4 inch, obviously. right here. Where we at? Let me see. Right there, 1/4 inch. They are just over 1 foot wide. What is that? 1 1/8 wide. Now this is a template for the notch I'm making. I'm going to alter it a little bit. This is 4.5 inches. Now 4.5 inches up here would be to that line that's been erased right there. But that seems a little excessive, so I might take it down to 4 inches all the way around. But I got under the car. I made a tracing of the frame, which goes right about there. That is pretty much exactly centered on the axle. Since now instead of the axle tube going up and back, it's going to be going straight up, and it's going to curve forward a little bit, but it's not going to move that much. But anyway, so I had the axle tube. I think this came up like there. The axle tube is about an inch below the frame right now. And yes, it is banging if I hit a hard enough bump. So then you have the 6.5 inch bag. That's the recommended inflated height. So the bottom of this frame mount has to be right on that line. Now this is all going to change a little bit actually, because that was with the suicide doors brackets at the 1 7/8 inch axle bracket height. So now I have to alter it just a tiny bit. So I'm going to have to bring this down a little bit. Otherwise it's going to drop my back end. I'm trying not to have to do any drive shaft tunnel modifications. Right now my drive shaft's not hitting. So that's what I'm trying to keep it exactly where the car is now. So if you've seen my other video of lowering the car, you know where it's at. If you haven't, go check it out. Anyway, that's about where we're at right there. Just about. Looks like I have to center it up a tiny bit. That's pretty much exactly where it's going to be. Except, I guess it's going to be 3/8 inches lower. So, probably right. It's about 1/8 of an inch. Right about there is where it's going to be. So it's not bad. If I cut it right along, I think this line right here, I'm going to cut it right there. Maybe a little shorter, I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But anyway, so the suicide doors frame brackets stuck off the frame 8 inches, which gave me the perfect amount of clearance to get my exhaust pipes away from the bags. I'm going to go right over the pumpkin, right where the axle tubes go into the pumpkin. So it's going to go along here, straight up, right over there, and back down along with the notch. So it's going to be physically impossible for the axle to touch it. Unless the bag rips off completely, and then guess I have more problems than worrying about my axle hitting my exhaust, right? So anyway, this sticks off just under 8, or just like 7 3/4 it looks like. So it gives me a little more clearance. Should be perfect. The bag is a 7-inch bag. So let me see here. Where's 3 inches? Right there in the center. So that's about how far it's going to be from the frame. About 1 inch from the frame. Or the opening or whatever. So it should be perfect. I will go ahead and pick up the metal for this. I'm going to my local metal supply store. They sell scraps for like, I could get a square plate big enough to do one. I can get 4 of those for probably $5. And then just buy more plate and make my tops and bottoms and insides. I think I was pricing out some notches from Jimenez Brothers, Gambino, those kind of guys. Their notches are like $120 or $130 or something, but then it's like $80 to ship it. So I'm going to make my own notches for like $40 or less, much less probably. And it can be to my specs, which is good. It'd be nice to buy a pre-made notch because then it would save me a ton of time and effort. But I don't know how, I don't know. Shipping kills me because these all ship free off eBay. The Paul Horton 4-link that I bought was like $20 or $22 to ship from Canada. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shipping's ridiculous. I understand they don't get it for free, so we shouldn't get it for free, but I don't know how some companies can ship for free these gigantic axle brackets or for $20 from Canada for an entire 4-link setup, but a notch costs $80 to ship, but who knows. Anyway, so that's it. This is the next part. I guess the next video about this will be when I buy the bags. Found them on Amazon for $204 for the pair. Free shipping, again. So there we are. Thanks for watching.